Namaste, I am Kumari, and this topic has me really challenged to share with you today. It's been bubbling up for over a week, and I know I'm supposed to share it, but it's taken me to the depths of my belief in the teaching, if you will. So bear with me and I'll explain. Years ago, probably 30 some years ago now, I was with my spiritual teacher in her community or ashram, and I had this experience of being really, really happy that they added a beautiful dancing sapta, a dancing chant to the schedule. And I was beside myself feeling so blessed. Just as the musicians were preparing, all of a sudden from nowhere, I start getting ready to explode in tears. So I'm running out of the hall, and on the back there's this sign that says, "Everything is Shiva, everything is God." And I thought, I'm about to lose it. I've got to find a tissue, but okay, maybe that's true. Let me try that on. And as soon as I opened my mind to this concept that this too, this horrible sadness welling up in me, could be God or consciousness or supreme energy or whatever you think of that term, then immediately it changed. Instead of bursting out in tears, it was right here, it was ready to come out. I started feeling inebriated, full of bubbly bliss, literally, for hours and hours. That energy was transmuted with my new awareness. And it happened spontaneously. And I was trying it on. So that's what I'm going to ask of you. Try this on. It will be challenging, as it has been for me, because the corollary that I want to share, I do believe that is truth, by the way. But the corollary, you know how people will say everything is perfect? In the middle of a global pandemic, how do you come off saying everything is perfect when people are clearly suffering and struggling in ways that we have never even comprehended? And each night I make it a point to go on Facebook and read about people who are asking for prayers. I can only do it at the end of the day, and then I sit and pray for them. But I want to stay in touch with that. So how can I possibly say this too is perfect, right? Everything is perfect to someone who is going through a loved one dying and can't even be at their side? It seems beyond, right? So I'll share it with you in the way that I can actually receive it. And that is as a healing question. What if this too is perfect? What if? Years ago, after my experience at the ashram, I started playing with this concept of everything is perfect or everything is God. And to me, they're a little bit different. So everything is perfect to me feels like I'm a healer. I'm a spiritual, I want things to change. I want to bring transformation. I'm not accepting what is. But I also have learned that everything that I don't accept in the moment, not that I don't commit to change it or commit to change how I respond, but everything that I resist persists, right? If you're pushing against something and resisting it, that can be the cause of great pain and suffering, anger and frustration. So here I was one day. I had a beautifully laid out schedule. It was very tight. Everything had to happen just so. And my wonderful husband says, "Honey, can you please go to the bank or do this errand because it has to happen today, by the way." And he wasn't able to do it. And so my beautiful plans for a perfectly productive day just got blown up. He's out the door and I'm stewing and getting more and more peeved because my agenda, you might be able to relate to this right now, my agenda got hijacked. And I was getting increasingly aggravated I watched my mind just go and go and go. And I was really like, I'm going to really tell him what's up. Um, and I caught it. Finally, I said, well, you're just making yourself more negative. You're making it worse. So I thought, well, what can I do to ease into this? As I'm getting dressed to go to do the errands, the phrase came in a question. It was so much softer than, well, everything is perfect, so this was perfect. I wasn't feeling it. I sure wasn't feeling it. It came in as a soft question. What if this too was perfect? What if? I don't have to buy it as a 2x4 statement. I don't have to change my beliefs right now, but I can contemplate the what if. And so I got in the car and drove down the street with this softer attitude. I wasn't quite as peeved. And sure enough, the car in front of me swerves. We're going about 50 miles an hour. And this guy does something I think he's going to cause an accident. Luckily, we both managed to not crash into each other. Slammed on the brakes. And at that moment, I saw why he swerved. In the middle of the 2-lane road was a gopher tortoise. And they're big. They're huge. And this gopher tortoise is endangered. And so there's much protection here and much awareness that we have to take care of them. So this guy swerved. He didn't want to hit it. And I nearly hit it, but thanks to him, I was slowing down. I was able to pull over, which I did. And I stopped traffic in both directions, and it was busy that time of day. Trucks and buses and cars. Not usually this busy here, but it was. And I thought, oh, they're really going to hate me. So I go into the street, pick up the tortoise in the direction he's going, place him in the bushes, say a prayer and say, please don't come back. It's not safe to do this again. And I go back and I'm trying to apologize to holding up everybody during this whole process. And I'm getting back in my car and people start shouting. And I think, oh, they're so mad. But they were shouting, thank you. They were shouting and honking their horns and putting thumbs up. I had the whole public support, which I didn't expect. Usually people are not always that kind when you're interrupting their driving. So I thought, well, that's interesting. And I get in the car and this song goes. I've never heard this song before or since. It was very odd that I even had the radio on to that station. And it's blurting out, I was hoping for you to rescue me. Calling it. I was calling out for you to rescue me. And that was the refrain. And they said it 3 times, so I didn't miss it. And by the 3rd time I went, what? Calling out to rescue me? Rescue me. And it hit me. I was in exactly that place at exactly the right time, just barely missing an accident, but that got me to stop and save that turtle. And I burst into tears because I remembered that I had been so resisting all of this. And what it took, the synchronicity to get me in the car, to get me off track of my beautifully planned day, and to have me in that place where I could be of such service. It was so divinely orchestrated. I was bawling in just tears of gratitude and deepening of this, what if this too is perfect concept. And so that really stayed with me. And you might think, well, Kumari, this is way worse than, a tortoise crossing a road or having an upset during a chant. So I agree. So I'm not going to tell you that this is a truth that you have to take from me. This is the teaching that you must abide by. I'm going to ask you, try on the softer version. Try on this idea that maybe, just maybe, there is some perfection in the grand design of this unfolding pandemic and all the things that it is forcing us to do or not do, all the ways that it's making us change and open our eyes and see our interconnectedness, perhaps. I don't pretend to know what this will be for all of us. Collectively, I can't begin to say how our world will change after this. And I don't want to pretend to know. I do feel an upsurging potential that has me quite excited at times of a mass awakening, a mass raising of consciousness to understand our interconnection, perhaps, our interdependence, hopefully, our need for compassionate care for each other, because each one of us is dependent on each other in ways that we never thought about. And so I give this to you as a contemplation, as a healing question, something for you to decide if it's a universal truth for you. And ultimately, the question is, does it bring you more pain or less pain? Does it bring you more suffering, more resistance, more anger, more grief? Or does it soften something? Does it maybe allow the tears to come that haven't been coming? They've been coming for me daily about the littlest things. So I'm just going to ask you to try it on for yourselves. See if this supports you. It has brought me great support over the years. It has enabled me to deepen my awareness of the opportunities that are being presented rather than just the appearance of negativity and my own judgments and serious levels of resistance, which I can get into. So I'm hoping that this brings you some degree of healing, peace, deeper understanding, and maybe a big transformation like it has for me on many occasions. What if this too is perfect? This moment here with me and you right now. Namaste.